Hello there, and welcome back to Zielonka. So, in the last episode, we bought our first field. It's a rather large field, and we started to take care of it with lime and fertilizer. So, first thing this month, let's take a look at that field and see how we are doing. So, our growth is starting to grow in here, which is great. We are clear of weeds, which is fantastic. Let's see, nothing else needs doing, which is good. So no rolling, no mulching, no watering. So I think our own field is fairly well taken care of. And if we just jump over to our tractor so we can get to our field, let's take a quick look at the field state. So how are we looking? We're good for nitrogen, got perfect pH value, and what are we looking? What else are we looking at here? We've got expected yield of 86-87%, which isn't fantastic, but if we look at the precision farming for this particular field, we can see that the expected yield potential is 85%. So it's pretty much near perfect for what the field can do. So what are we going to do for December? Well, the field purchase used up a considerable amount of our balance. Remember from last month we had about 160,000 euros and we spent about 120, I think it was 117 on the field. And then we had to buy a pallet fork, we had to top up with fertilizer, we had to buy a couple of other things. We also bought a roller and a weeder. So we are starting to run low on funds again. So what I think we're going to need to do through winter is just build up our balance by doing some extra contracts. And we're pretty much going to be doing that through the whole winter up until the field is ready to harvest, which is, if we look at our crop calendar here, we look at wheat at the bottom. So July is when the field is ready to harvest. So by July, we're going to need to be able to buy a harvester and a header. So by July, let's take a look in our vehicle store. By July, we need to be able to afford 55,000 for the harvester and then 20,000. So we need 76,500 by next July to be able to afford the harvester and the header. Now, alternatively, if we can manage to rack up 100,000, we could go for a slightly better harvester. And alternatively, again, if I think this is about 100,000 as well, 75 and 25. Yeah, so depending on how much money we manage to build up between now and next July, that's the harvester we are going to be purchasing. It's going to be one of these four harvesters. Let's see this one here. This is a 6-meter header, so that doesn't really offer anything over the Rostel mash. What does it offer over that? So it offers a decent amount of storage capacity over the smaller harvester. This has a bigger storage capacity. These both have the same storage capacity. This one has slightly wider working width, so I think we're probably going to end up with one of these three harvesters, but that's what we're aiming for in terms of money. We need at least 70 or 80,000. Quick look in the discount store to see if anything has come up overnight. Don't think it has. We have nothing in there that we can use. So let's take a look at our contracts for the day or for the month. So cultivating contracts, we don't have a cultivator, so we can't do that. We have a deadwood contract, so that is a possibility. We have a ploughing contract, which we can't do, and we have some supply and transport contracts, which we don't have any product for. So right now, it looks like our only option is another deadwood contract. This is it's another 10 trees, so this will bring us in another 30 or so thousand. So it looks like we're going to have to take this in the absence of any other viable work to complete. So let's take that. and we'll head over to the vehicle store, make sure we've got everything we need. We can leave the front weight here because we don't need that. Actually, we'll pick the front weight up and deposit it somewhere where it's not going to prevent us from hooking up to our tractor. Something else we will also need to buy by the time harvest time comes around is somewhere to store our crop. So let's take a quick look at that quickly. Let's switch off the engine. Let's take a quick look at how we're going to store our crops, and that's going to be under the construction menu. And this is the first time I'm looking in here, so it's going to be some kind of silo. 75,000 litres, so yeah, we need another 20,000 for somewhere to store our crops. Yeah, depending on how much money we have, that's what we're going to have to be using. Let's see what other options we have in here. So 20,000 is the minimum we need for that. Now, I know there's a mod I was considering on the mod hub which prevents you from storing more than... before we get going, we are going to need to get rid of that lime out of here. So, happy I noticed that now rather than when we got over to the store, because we wouldn't have been able to get it off the trailer. We don't have any kind of super strength enabled, and I'm not intending on enabling it unless we really need it to unstick ourselves for something. In fact, I don't even have it downloaded at the moment, so what I'm going to do is just fill up this spreader with that lime and then drop off the spreader again. There we go, and of course... okay, well, we're just going to have to drop it there because we didn't have the weight on. We didn't have the weight attached in front of the tractor, so we ended up doing a wheelie. Okay, let's hook back up to the trailer. We'll get over to the vehicle store, pick up the front loader. We'll need to fill up with fuel, and then we can get over to the forest and start cutting down those trees. Anyways, as I was saying, in the mod hub there is a mod that alters silos so that you can only store 4 different crop types in each silo, and you have to buy silo extensions to be able to store 2 additional crop types per additional extension. Now I'm thinking whether or not I want to download that just to make the game a little more realistic. I can't ever see ourselves having more than 4 crop types anyway, just stored on our farm, because we're generally going to be selling them. And I think once we have enough money to, we're not going to be dealing directly with crops. We are going to be looking at production chains. So I'm not sure. What do you think? Should we add that extra level of realism or not bother? Okay, so we've got our front loader. We'll switch out the pallet fork for the log fork, and let's head over to the fuel station and fill up with fuel. Yeah, so let me know if you think we should download that extra mod for the limited fill types in the silos, or whether it's okay to keep it as it is. I know on FS22 there were, or there are, collectibles around the Zielonka map. I'm not actually sure if they're there on FS25. Not something I am playing towards, but I'm just wondering if we happen to find them, if we should pick them up or not. I know you get a small monetary bonus whenever you do find a collectible, so that's making me think that I don't really want to collect them. I don't know whether it's 1,000 euros or 10,000. If it's 10,000, I definitely don't want to be collecting them, because that will give us too much of an advantage when we're supposed to be largely playing from scratch. even 1,000 really. I think we should probably stay away from them. I'm not going to go hunting for them, but if they happen to show up, maybe we'll pick them up. I'm not sure. To be decided. Okay, so here we are over at the land where the trees need to be cut down. We've got 10 of them, and I can already see 1, 2, 3. I can already see quite a few of them, which is very handy. So we'll disconnect from the trailer, switch off the tractor, and we will get shopping. Okay, so I just saw a message come up on the screen saying that the time for my wood contract ran out. So it looks like the contracts work slightly differently in FS25 in that they have an expiry time as well as an expiry date. So I have seen this here. Obviously, I've noticed this here before. I've never really paid attention to it. I think I thought that it meant there were 13 hours left or 30 hours left as it says, rather than that's the time the contract is due by. But I guess not. So all of these times are when the contract is actually due by. Actually, no, that's not right, because that's 32 hours 56 minutes. Maybe I just didn't spot the time left on this contract. It's okay, because while the contract is still marked as active on my active contracts, even though it's expired, it looks like the trees are still here. I can see 3 over there. This tree is still here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be very nice and cut down these dead trees for this farmer anyway, because I can still sell them and make money, and it's not like the farmer has a choice because I have a chainsaw. So I'm going to continue cutting these trees down and take them away for this farmer, because I know that's what he really wants. So okay, I'll see you again in a bit. So apparently I am not cutting the other trees down for the farmer. I'm not allowed. So I guess I will just collect up what I've already cut down here and take it to sell it, and then I will finish the contract. Okay, well, that's slightly disappointing, but never mind. It happened. I guess we'll have to pay more attention to that in the future. What I would really like is for some kind of penalty to be levied if you miss a contract. So I think you should have a penalty of like 50% of the contract value. I know in FS22 there was a mod. It wasn't better contracts, but it was related to contracts that actually allowed you to build up a reputation with each farmer before you could borrow their equipment, and then additionally it allowed for setting a penalty for failed or incompleted contracts. So you could set the penalty amount in the options, and I thought that was a really good addition to the contract system. But so far that mod hasn't been brought to FS25. I actually don't even remember who it was by. But hopefully that will make its way over to the new game at some point in the near future. These trees are now misbehaving because they know I'm not supposed to be collecting them. Come on, trees. Let me take you to the carpentry. There we go. These are the last two that we need to load with the front loader. The other ones we can probably pick up by hand. If I'd realised the contract was expiring soon, I would have quickly run around and cut down all the trees, because it appears that you can still dissect the trees and take them away when the contract expires, but you just can't cut any more down. But I didn't realise. Something to know for the future. We could have had an extra decent amount of money there, but never mind. Hopefully by the time we've taken this load over to the sawmill, another contract of some kind will appear, and if not, we'll skip through to January and see what comes up in terms of work then. I wonder if this is a better way to drive into the sawmill. It's not the sawmill, the carpentry. I think this might actually be a better way to do it. Yeah, we just drive in there like that and then reverse ourselves around here. Oh, that's much better than reversing in from the road. Why didn't I think of that before? Yeah, that's so much quicker. Okay. So 9,738, and I don't quite know why I got 438 environmental score. Well, I know why I got it, it's because of the precision farming, but that wasn't even my field. So, yeah, precision farming seems to work in a weird way, where it gives you an environmental score for anything you sell, rather than just crops that come from the fields that you're taking care of. Let's see where we're going. Yeah, we can take a quick dive down here. And while we're on this road, let's switch off our engine and see what else we have in terms of contracts. So we can collect this contract. And what else has come up? Anything? We've got some ploughing, cultivating. Yeah, there's really nothing. There's a transport contract, but I don't really want to do that. It's only 2 hours left on it as well. So let's get back over to our field. We'll see what we have over there in terms of trees. It might just be worth clearing that area at the bottom of our field, ready for building our buildings on it when it comes to it. We will take a look. Okay, back over at our field, and yeah, it doesn't really look like there's anything worth cutting down here. Not to sell anyway. Let's see. These actually, yeah, they do have collisions on them, so they are, I think they're cuttable. Yeah, they are cuttable, but they're not really worth cutting down. Yeah, there's nothing here that's worth chopping up and cutting down. So I'm going to skip through a few hours and see if anything comes up contract-wise this afternoon. Okay, so we skipped forward a few hours. What has come up in that time? So we've got another Deadwood contract here. So I guess because of the time of year, really, we choose between Deadwood, cultivating, ploughing. I think Deadwood is going to be the way forward because it's easily the most profitable, and we don't have tools for ploughing or cultivating. And we don't have anything for supply and transport. So let's pick up this Deadwood contract and let's make sure that this time we get it done before the time runs out. Okay, back over to that field we were at before. I'll see you over there. Okay, so we're back over at field 104. So it wasn't the field we were at before, but it's a field where we have cut down trees previously. And in approaching it now, I can see a better way to find our way up to the spot where we need to cut the trees down. Oh, I thought that was a better way, but I didn't see that massive dip there. Fortunately, our tractor can deal with it. Now, where are these trees that we need to chop up? Chopping up in this area isn't the most ideal because there's so many other trees and hills and other things in the area. But there's our first tree. I see one further just up the hill there. So let's get chopping. Okay, so because it's December, we're getting dark pretty quickly. So what I think I'm going to try and test out is if this contract will persist overnight. So I'm going to load these 2 logs up, take them down to the sell point, and then I'm going to go back to Grandma's house and get a good sleep. I'm going to see if the contract still persists in January. So hopefully it does, and we can just come back here in January and finish off these trees. If it doesn't, we've only lost the $1,000 from the contract. We haven't actually lost any money from the logs because we're going to sell the logs before we go back to Grandma's. So let's just get ourselves around here, pick this last log up, load it on the trailer, and then we can test out the contract expiry. Now, question is, I can't really... Can I do a... Yeah, I can probably still do it, can't I? Oh, that's going to make it tough. So, because it's resting against the tree, can I scoop it up horizontally? Oh, get in there. There we go. Is that working? I think that's working, isn't it? Yeah, let's close the log fork. There we go. Okay. Let's get ourselves down to the trailer. It's difficult controlling this tractor on a steep hill. Yeah, it's really not easy to control. Now, I have a feeling that if I drop the logs here, they're going to fall off, but let's try it. Oh, no, that's gone in the little gap. That's good. Now, this one. And that's going to go in next to it. Yes. Perfect. Alright, let's get ourselves connected back up to the trailer. And we'll go down to the carpentry, get these logs sold off, and then we will return to this field in January. There we go, we're all strapped in and hooked up. Got 4 of our 8 logs on board. I think we'll just take a quick dive down the hillside here. But we'll just use our special Lamborghini entrance and drop off the wood at the carpentry. See how much we get for these logs. So 12,980. That's good. And let's go over to Grandma's house. Now, shall I be a bit sneaky? Just park ourselves on the side here and teleport back to Grandma's house? I think that might be a good idea. So we'll switch off the tractor, switch off the lights. And yeah, let's teleport over to Grandma's house. We're over here, aren't we? So we'll go there. We'll sleep until January. And I wonder if that contract still persists. In theory it should, because it said it had 50 or so hours left. But I know in FS22 the contract would only be good for the day. Oh, we've had some snow overnight. Happy New Year, by the way. Had some snow overnight. It looks like the contract has persisted, which is great. So we can continue chopping down those trees. So let's get back up the hillside here and see where these other deadwood trees are. We're probably going to have to go... Let's see. I think up here might be a good idea. This tractor's really not having a good time in the snow. Well, I'll carry on with this, and I was about to say I'll carry on with it, but I don't think we're going anywhere. Well, that wasn't desirable. We need some tyre chains. I don't think we're going to be able to complete this contract. We can try again by taking a run up, but I don't think we're going to get enough speed in the snow to get to where we want. We can possibly try going over this way, but we're really not picking up much speed here. Yeah, I don't think we are. Oh, we're getting a little bit of speed up. But I don't think we're going to get enough to get back up to where we were. I can't see any more dead trees down here. There's one over there I can see. Maybe we can scoot over to this piece. It doesn't look too steep. Ah, here we go. Come on, little tractor, you can do it. I believe in you. Come on, tractor. You got this. You got this, little tractor, yeah. I think, actually... Okay, you don't got this. We'll leave the tractor, we'll leave the trailer here. How much does this trailer weigh? Oh, it's a heavy trailer. 6 tons. That seems like a lot. Trailer weighs more than the tractor. Seems a bit strange. But maybe it does. Maybe it's made of lead. I don't know. Okay. Where are these trees? There's one over... There's one there. And there's one over there. So let's get those two chopped down. Get the engine switched off so we're not wasting fuel. I think this is one of them. Is it? Yeah, it is. So we'll get these chopped. We'll get this chopped down. And the logging continues. Well, before we start chopping actually, and I put it on a time lapse, let's see if anything else has come up we might be able to take care of. Yeah, there's not really much. There's a little bit of wood transport over there. It's not really 11 logs. It's not far to take them, so we could consider doing that. But let's finish off these logs, and we'll take a look at that afterwards. Okay, I think I'm going to make this the last tree that we collect and put on the trailer for this contract. I will grab hold of this one and then I'll collect up the other two with the tractor. I'll chop the other trees down, but I will let the farmer who owns the field deal with them himself, because we're getting too far away from the trailer and going backwards and forwards is getting more tedious than chopping the trees themselves down. And so what I'll do is we'll throw this in the trailer, we'll throw the next two in the trailer. Before we throw the next two in the trailer, let's go around and find, is it just one more tree? I think it is just one more tree. Or maybe it is worth collecting then. It's this one over here, I can see it. No, it's not worth collecting. I think it's this one. Is it this one? Yeah. We will... Now, should I collect it? I'm tempted to now, because it's only one left. It's not that far away from this tree. It's going to be, potentially, if we chop it up right, it's going to be 2 more trips to the trailer with the tractor, and 2 more trips by foot if we can chop the pieces up so that we can pick up 2 by hand. Let's take a look. That's the end of it there. Do 1 piece at about here. One piece at about here. And then we'll chop this piece in half. And this is going to be the 2 pieces that need carrying. So, can we pick this up? Yeah, we can. Okay. We will do all of them. I know it's a bit of a grind running all the way over here, but we're almost there. And February, what I might do is just skip through February to March, and then hopefully in March, I believe that's when the spring crops get planted, so hopefully then some kind of other interesting contracts will pop up to last us until July. Not forgetting, of course, that we do need to earn... We do need a balance of about 90,000 by July to buy the harvester, header and the grain silo. Don't really want to be selling the wheat straight off the field because obviously the prices in the harvest month are going to be the lowest, so I do want to buy that silo to store the crop. We're going to need to buy it eventually anyway, and also we'll need somewhere to store it so we can actually feed our chickens. So, but once we have our harvester, we can then harvest other people's fields as well. So yeah, I think that the next few months the game's going to get a lot more interesting. So let's jump in our tractor. We'll do these final 2 trips with these last 4 logs, and then we'll head over to the carpentry with them, and then we can call this contract a complete. And might even move through to February in this episode. I'll see how long I've been recording for, and if I think that we can fit February in, then we'll do that. Usually approximately 3 hours of gameplay could be edited into a 1 hour video, depending on how much time lapse there is. So it really depends on what we're doing. 2 to 3 hours. 2 hours is closer to kind of 45 minutes. 3 hours is around an hour of edited video, but we will see. Okay, that's those 2 in there. And now one more trip for the remains of that last tree. Follow our tracks up the hillside here. Where is that last tree? It's kind of over this way if I remember right, isn't it? Yeah, there it is, just over there. Come on, little Lambo, you got this. It's probably the lowest horsepower Lambo that ever existed. Okay, definitely didn't think that tree had a collision. You can't really tell which trees have a collision and which ones don't by looking at them. You kind of just have to drive towards them and hope they don't. Okay, one log picked up. And I'm wondering if, rather than trying to dump this in the trailer, if it might make more sense to just carry it on the log fork. I am actually holding down the reverse button, but because of the snow, the tractor seems to be doing what it wants. Okay, back to the trailer with our final 2 logs, and let's get these down low. I'm not going to put them in the trailer itself, I'll just keep them in the log fork. Once I get hooked up to the trailer, I will quickly trim that rogue branch off with the chainsaw. Okay, hooked up. There we go. Alright, so that's the best way down the hillside here, I think. It's going to be just going straight down here. Whoa, definitely not what I planned. I think it would be much more realistic if your vehicle could actually get damaged from you crashing into things in this game. That would actually make me be a lot more careful. And like, because I know that the vehicle doesn't get damaged by hitting objects, I still obviously try to avoid them, but I definitely don't take as much care as I would if realistic vehicle damage was actually a thing. Okay. Through the Lambo entrance. And I hope I can fit round the side of the building with these logs in tow. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's plenty of room here. So we will offload the 2 logs first of all. So 2,611. And then we'll offload whatever's on the trailer. So another 10,200. And then let's collect the contract itself. 1,200 for the contract. And just take a look. Yeah, there's nothing else really here that we want to do. So let's get back to Grandma's house. Okay, not like that. Like that. So we'll head back to Grandma's house. We'll take a snow day and we'll sleep through till February. And then we will see what there is to do in February. Okay, so we took the rest of January as a snow day. Here we are in February. The snow has melted, but it looks like we've got some more snow falling right now. Let's take a quick look at the... Do we have the weather in here like we did in FS22? I actually don't know. I haven't looked too closely. It looks like we don't have any weather at all. Maybe it's something that you only see in FS25. Oh no, it's down the bottom in the calendar screen. There we go. So we're expecting snow for most of the day. Or snow this morning. And the sun, cloud sun. Looking at the weather forecast for the year, it doesn't look too great. Looks like we've got rain in April, May, June, July and August. Anyways, we'll worry about that when it comes to it. Let's take a look at what we have to do here. So, again, the only real thing we have to do is Deadwood. How much money do we have? 53,000. We're going to need to build up our money. So 9 trees, that's going to be another 25,000 or so. So I think it's worth doing. And then when March comes, let's take a look at the crop calendar. So if we look at the crops, March is planting season for oats, grapes, cotton, peas, potatoes. Hopefully we'll get some fertilizing contracts for March to get us away from this constant deadwooding. Okay, let's jump in our tractor. Let us go over and take care of some more trees. I do need to get the tractor repaired at some point. I should probably take a look at that. If we jump out quickly. I know we're only at 26% damage. Not forgetting the advanced maintenance that I mentioned in last month, where we have a higher likelihood of breakdown after 50%. I wonder how much our Lamborghini costs to maintain. Maybe we'll just take a quick look. Seeing as we are actually at the vehicle store, we'll dive in here and take a look to see if maintenance is really expensive on this Lambo. Let's take a look. What are we looking at? Oh, it's only 591 repair bill, so let's get that repaired. You might notice that the repaint amount is very low. Don't remember, I think I might have actually covered it in the first episode, but I did download a mod that means painting isn't such an annoyance. so the paint doesn't deteriorate as much, and so that it doesn't cost quite as much to repaint the vehicle, because I just don't feel that the defaults for those things are very realistic. So yeah, the painting costs aren't that expensive in this playthrough of the game. Not that I ever repaint the vehicle anyway until I want to sell it, but yeah, it just doesn't seem silly when you have a maintenance cost of 1,000 and a repainting cost of tens of thousands. These dead trees are a lot more difficult to spot in winter when none of the trees have leaves on. Like, they are quite distinctive. You can see there's 3 there on the left and then 3, 4 on the right, but they're definitely not as easy to spot as when the other trees have leaves on. Anyways, let's switch off the tractor, get it detached, and we will get some more trees cut down. Now, I know I've been saying this for the last couple of in-game months, but hopefully this is the last Deadwood contract. We will see. Okay, so we have a full trailer with 4 of these trees. I think it's 4. Yeah, we have 4 trees. Remember, 3 to the left of the trailer, 1 to the right. So let's get them taken over to the sell point, and we can chop down the 5 remaining trees and get them sold as well. Where are we taking these 4 trees? Best price is over at the sawmill still, 1880. The biomass plant is 679, well, it's 1780. So we stand to get 1,000 less if we take them local. Yeah, I think that's where we're going to go. We're not going to take them all the way over to the sawmill. That's too far. So, where's the heating plant? Where is it? I thought I tagged it. Did I tag it or no? Oh yeah, it's just here. Okay, so we will take a quick scoot around here, down there, and then down there. So, I wonder if this will actually be the final month we do Deadwood contracts. As I mentioned earlier, I've been saying it for the last couple of months, but the way the fields turned out was that the only one that had the cropping we wanted for the new season was that one field that ended up being larger than we probably needed. But I felt like it was our only option to get started without having to sow our own crop. So I do feel it was the right decision. Now the question is, I'm thinking about the silo and the harvester to harvest our field, but to then replant our field we need to buy a seeder, so we need to buy something to sow the seeds with and something to cultivate the field with. So we also have to think about that expense when we're thinking about how much money we actually need how much money we need to make this year. We will have to consider our options once we harvest the field and take stock of what we have. Because one option is to leave the field without any crop in it until the next spring crop. That would save us having to buy a cultivator and a seeder, although we're going to need to do that eventually anyway. Another option, I'll continue talking about that in a second. Let's just get these logs sold off. How much are we going to get for them? So 13,000, that's nice and handy. Yeah, so the other option is to hopefully have enough money to buy some kind of chicken coop, because at least that will help us work towards our first level of VIP order. Just going to jump into our VIP orders quickly. It's 10 chickens, so we don't need that many chickens, and only 1,000 eggs, so not that many eggs either. Having said that, if we do have a fair number of chickens, they will be producing a reasonable number of eggs, which will score us some much needed income. Yeah, not sure how we're going to make out with that. We will see. Okay, so back over to the field with the trees in to chop the rest of them up and sell the dead wood. And then once we're done there, I think we could probably safely call it a month for February. Oof. Is this a road? I think this might actually be a footpath. Oh well. No, it's a road, right? Yeah, it's a road because there's an entrance to that building. The way the snow falls in this game, yeah, kind of makes me a little dizzy. Alright, so where are the rest of these trees? I see two there to the right, one, I think that's one there to the left. So and there's one there to the right as well. So we'll park our trailer here. Is that, yeah, 1, 2, 3 there. And then 4 here. The question is, where's the 5th one? I don't see the 5th one. Okay, well, we won't worry about that for a minute. We'll get these 4 chopped down and dissected. So, back over to the capable hands of the time-lapse of music, and I'll rejoin you again shortly. So we've cut down all of the trees apart from one, and we've managed to load them fairly neatly onto the trailer. So that means there's only one tree to go, but I actually can't see the tree. Just looking around, like I said, they have a very distinctive shape. They're definitely a lot harder to spot in winter, and the other trees don't have leaves on them. But I can't see the rogue dead tree, so we're just going to have to go for a drive through the woods and see if we can spot it. Probably going to be one of those ones where I can't find it while I'm recording, but when I get to editing, it's going to be right there in front of me, and I won't believe how I didn't spot it. Is that it over there? Nope. In fact, we're out of the area now where the deadwood is. There it is. I see the red marker. For once, I spotted it via the red marker rather than the shape of the tree. Okay, let's get this last one chopped down. We do it over in that direction. This won't take long at all. Then we can get sold and we can hibernate for the rest of February and wake up in March. Is that going to go in the right direction? Yeah, perfect. It's not getting caught in any other trees. Let's quickly trim the branches. Okay, and then chop it up into pieces, I think roughly around here. And then maybe around here, a little bit further along. Just taking guesses here. I think this is roughly about how it should be. And then one here. There we go. Okay, let's pick up these two smaller pieces. Get them dumped on the trailer. I found that when loading the trailer, if you load it from the rear, it tends to be, if you load the handheld logs from the rear, it tends to load a little more neatly. The downside being that you can't see too well, so you have to kind of position it before you walk onto the trailer. Like that. Yeah, so it's directly on top, exactly where I wanted it pretty much. Okay, next small piece. Let's get this one thrown into the trailer, and then maybe even the final two pieces we can carry on the log fork. Oh, that's not good. Come on. Okay, where's this little piece going to go? I think it's going to go up there. Going to go up a little further. Nope. Oh, that's not quite where I wanted it, but it's almost. So if I then just pick it up and then rotate it a little bit. And then throw it in there like that. It's kind of precarious sitting there. But let's leave it there for now. We can easily pick it up if it does decide to make a run for it. And if it does, we'll make sure it gets fed to whichever saw or chopping machine it is going to before all the other logs as a punishment. I hope it heard me say that and decides to behave itself. Alright, let's get these last two picked up. One good thing about these repeating deadwood contracts is that I've become quite handy with the log fork, lining things up, picking things up. I definitely feel like I'm more capable with the log fork than I was before we started this playthrough. There we go. 2 logs picked up, and I think I'm going to drop them on this side of the trailer. I think that makes most sense. Yeah. Even though this tree is right in the way, let's get this up as high as we can. Yeah, that's the one. And then zip it in here like this. And maybe like that. Is that gonna... That's in there exactly where I wanted it. And then this one, is it gonna stay there? I feel like that. Is it gonna fall off? Oh, just perfect. Right there on the edge. Okay. And also that other small log fell into the trailer and not off of the trailer. These logs are being surprisingly well behaved today. I wonder what sneaky tricks they have in plan for me on the way to wherever we're selling them. Looks like they're all securely fastened, so I don't think any of them are going to escape. Let's see where we're taking them. Is it going to be over to the biogas plant or somewhere different? That's the biomass heating plant again. Don't really want to take them over to the sawmill. It's too far to the station. It's not really something I want to do. So, over to the biomass plant. See how much we've made. And then we will go sleep in Grandma's bed again. Okay, here we are at the biomass plant. Let's jump out once we get over the sell point. Something I want to check very quickly is, let's take a look. 6.84 tons an hour, so I guess it does, the weight of this does increase with when you put logs in it. It's saying it's the mass and not just the weight of the trailer. Let's see once we've sold. Okay, so 16,000 from the wood, and now let's look at the mass. Yeah, I don't know. Because that's, before that only weighed 6.1 tons, now it weighs 6.84 tons. Seems to be increasing in weight every time we use it. Because I'm pretty sure, if we check the, where's our equipment list? Yeah, it says this weighs 2.5 tons. It can't weigh that much more because of the extensions we have on it, can it? Let's just take a look in the store at trailers. Where are the trailers? And the strap, it's this one here. So it weighs 2.5 tons. And we have this configuration. Yeah, I think there's some kind of bug with the trailer. Oh no, it's gone down now to 2.5 tons. Must be some kind of delay when you offload the wood. It's definitely unusual behaviour. Anyways, I'm going to go get some fuel, and then I'm going to hibernate for the rest of winter at Grandma's house. And I will rejoin you back here in the next episode for March, when hopefully we'll have a little bit of variety in jobs to complete. I hope you're enjoying following along here. I know it's becoming a bit of a grind, but that is soon to be different, especially with the spring and summer season coming along in the game. If you have been enjoying, please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next episode. Until then, bye for now.